Can we get to Fani Willis really quickly? I want to talk about Fani. Keeping y'all an update. Leaked audio from a previous employee that brought to her some issues, but also they saying that she has no plans to recuse herself from any of the cases that she's been prosecuting. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, shout out to my people on Facebook, and turn on your notifications. Just real quick, just an update. Then we want to get over to Keith Lee, y'all.
And now to Georgia, where Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is indicating that she has no plans of stepping down from the state's 2020 election.
So they can call her Fani, but I can't call her Fani. I got to call her Fani. Which one is it? Is it Fani or is it Fani? We like to use different news sources in order to try to be balanced here at the Millionaire Morning Show, but we still going to give our authentic thoughts.
Election interference case. This is all according to sources close to those within the DA's office. Willis is accused of having an improper romantic relationship with her lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade. One of Trump's co-defendants claims that the two misused taxpayer money once Wade was hired onto the case. With me now, CNN's Zach Cohen. Zach, Fani Willis has one more day to formally respond to these allegations. Bring us up to speed on what more exactly you have learned.
Yeah, Kristen, we really haven't heard a lot from Fani Willis since these allegations first surfaced a few weeks ago, but I'm told by multiple sources she's been quietly and intimately involved in crafting this written response that, she has until tomorrow to file in court filings. And look, I'm told again by multiple sources that she has no intention of voluntarily removing herself from this case, despite the fact that some legal experts and even Trump and some of his co-defendants have called on her to do so after these allegations came up. But look, she is also subpoenaed to appear and testify at a February 15th hearing. That would be a hearing where she would potentially have to face questions from cross-examination from defense attorneys about these allegations of an improper romantic relationship with her top prosecutor. She faced the potential of having to also defend herself, her personal life on camera. As we know, all the hearings in this case are broadcasted live on video. So the potential for a very explosive and controversial hearing in the 15th, but we know Fani Willis behind the scenes intends to stay on this case, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Yeah, messy to say the least.
Messy is an understatement. Fraudulent, disrespectful, unethical. There's a lot of different words that we can use in order to describe, and adjectives to describe what we witnessing from Fani over here. But I will also say the biggest phrase that I would use to describe her is for the streets, man. For the streets. And arrogant. And refusing to take accountability for her actions. Now, had this been a man, y'all be trying to nail him to the cross. Listen. When they discovered the inappropriate actions of that guy that was trying to bribe Carrie Lake, they got him up out of there. They forced him to resign. They said, listen, you're not going to be doing what you want to do when you want to do it. But she can disrespect the American justice system. She can continue to persecute and prosecute and try to stand on business when it comes to pushing this agenda. And then nobody, and when I say nobody, listen. Do y'all find it a bit odd that if this is anybody, even when it comes to like popular culture, podcasters, singers, actors, dancers, Jonathan Majors got accused and he was running down the street for his life. We have a Fulton County DA that is basically busting it down for a married man. The man is allegedly busting this chick down and she's married. Went on cruises together. Now, had this been Derek Jackson, y'all gonna be all over him. But you get this chick, this 53-year-old woman, and because she fits the narrative and pushing an agenda, and she's also prosecuting the people that you don't like the most, we hear nothing but a whisper. Y'all won't even mention her name like she Candyman. I see zero. And when I say zero, I mean zero. And maybe it's just the people that pop up on my algorithm. But when I search to see what's going on out here in these streets, and I want to see what other outlets, especially women specifically, that are tackling this situation, I don't see anything. I see but a whisper. Whisper. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do the thing that's the most popular or the most entertaining. It's easy for us to go over there and talk about Rick Ross and his baby mama, or we can go back and talk about Meg Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj going back and forth and who won. But don't y'all want to know what's really happening in the Fulton County DA? Or the people that's prosecuting and upholding the laws and picking and choosing which cases is gonna go to trial or not. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all don't care about whether or not this 53-year-old woman was throwing it back for a real one. Whether or not they was using your taxpayer money in order to fund their trips, whether they was overspending. None of that matters. We don't see nobody is holding Fani Willis accountable except the general news, me and a couple of other guys here and there. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
So the attorney for Trump's co-defendant, Mike Roman, he's asking
Eric Daniels. The problem is not that all of the major networks is covering it. The problem, listen. The major networks, for those of y'all that really don't understand, they depend on us to determine what's hot or not. Honestly. Like, I know it seems like the major networks got pulled and it's the Fox News and the CNNs and all of that, but I'm telling you that they go away. It's not them that determines what the culture is supposed to be holding accountable and what's important to us. It's us. It's us that give the real opinions. It's us that talk unfiltered. It's us that talk about it every day and we not a part of a program, right? They are getting ad dollars. They are getting, even if a specific sponsor or ad says, hey, we don't really want you to hit on this or we don't want you to talk on that, they slant whatever it is that they talking about towards, even if they covering it a specific way because they're biased. See, when we get on here, we talk unfiltered. And there's even been, and I've shown y'all reports where, or different live streams where they're basically reading off the same script. They're reading a script. We're giving you our authentic thoughts. They're reading you a script. We're giving you our authentic thoughts. What you see come out of my mouth is what I really believe. I've picked a side on most of these issues, and I'm objective enough to look at it based off of the facts, not based off of whoever it is that's sponsoring the show, right? I don't determine what I'm going to say based off of whatever it is that other people is going to say. So when we talk about these issues, and it's not just Fani, it's across the board, what are the things that are the most meaningful to us, impactful to us, and how can we give an authentic thought about it without being slanted, biased, or deterred from telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And I'm going to tell you, the people want the truth. They don't want to be sold a lie. You're being sold a lie, but they want to know the truth. And so when we have these conversations, it's not as important for the major networks to push an agenda because we've seen what happened during the pandemic when that was popping off. It's important for us on the ground floor to tell you the truth. And all of us together are much bigger and much more important than these major networks. Even a target demographic that they stream to or that they show their news to on cable networks, man, listen, most of those people are aged out. They're not even a target demographic of most advertisers as far as who they're trying to reach. So when we have these conversations, we have to have these conversations based off of what makes the most sense, not whatever it is that's being pushed to you. A lot of times they be stealing from us and using what it is that we got as far as our talking points. They talk just like us.
At least 10 other witnesses to testify at this hearing later this month. Can you just walk us through who some of those people are? It's quite a few.
Yeah, Chris. And so we fully expect Fani Willis and Nathan Wade to try to quash their subpoena and avoid testifying. But look, these individuals that have also been subpoenaed could provide testimony about their alleged relationship. You know, we have people like Fani Willis's personal security guard at one point, her bodyguard, her former assistant, and her current assistant at the DA's office. They've also subpoenaed former and current prosecutors, some of Wade's former business partners, investigators on the Trump case. So really, this co-defendant throwing everything at the wall and hoping to get some testimony on February 15th that could potentially disqualify Fani Willis from the case.
Let me play this audio recording that somebody sent me. Shout out to your car. Shout out to the people that hold me down and always keep me up to date on what's going on. Apparently, this was a recording back in November 2021 of somebody, I guess her name was Amanda Timpson, and she was voicing concern about what was happening within the offices that was connected to Fani Willis, and she was speaking to Fani specifically and bringing to her, I guess, an ethics issue of what was going on in the office. And so I'm going to just play the whole recording and then I'm going to leave it there.
If you had to give me a sentence, what is the sentence theme once I told him about his, respectfully and in an email, about his lack of leadership and the fact that he wanted to do things with grants that were impossible, and I kept telling him like, we can't do that, and questioning stuff. He would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him, because I understood. I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're gonna get MacBooks, we're gonna do that, we're gonna get swag, we're gonna use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county, all this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing. Period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
Cuffey, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another, is dangerous to your administration. He tells people, when I reached out to you, he told me, oh, you think your word is safe? Exactly when you reached out to Miss Willis, she called me and told me, she tell me everything. So once you reach out to her, she's gonna reach back out to me. So I didn't even go to HR, and he put Dexter's name on my PDP, and I didn't even feel safe going to anybody.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 supervisors that have failed in this building. What's interesting to me, because I'm in a learning curve too, they each pretend to have a relationship with me that they do not have. Mm-hmm. I guess that's an intimidation tactic. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that you felt that way, but you, Dexter certainly don't have no relationship with right. Michael Cuffey. You were safe to go those places?
Being objective, I got a couple different thoughts, right? My main thought after hearing this and hearing somebody actually come to her and say, hey, what's happening in your administration and what's happening around you is not right. My initial reaction is that you always have empathy as a manager, as a person that's held multiple different leadership positions. You always have to have empathy for the person that's coming to you because, first of all, it takes courage for them to step outside of the shadows of what's going on around you. And you have to have empathy and you have to start to investigate, not necessarily berate in that instance. Because whatever is done that they come into you, it's already done, right? You got to make sure that as a leader, you're objective, that you don't jump to a conclusion, that you don't necessarily give advice, but that you just make sure that people are in a safe space to where they should be able to communicate their thoughts to you as a leader. That's number one. Number two, this lady sounds like she's running in the Victim Olympics a little bit because it does not absolve you from doing what it is that you knew was the right thing to do. If you felt like you were supposed to go to HR, if you felt like it was something that you needed to address, I don't see where Fani Willis in this situation did the wrong thing. I'm being objective. I got to be objective. I don't think that she did anything wrong in this instance. Just because people recorded it don't mean that it is something that's tied to her that's negative, that she did anything wrong. Because she did handle it a little bit more effectively, possibly. But then at the same time, I think that this girl just sounds like she's running in the Victim Olympics. She's very emotional. She's angry. And I'm not sure what happened to her. But this recording is not a damning piece of evidence that actually brings Fani Willis down and says that she's operating inappropriate. Now, if she busted it down for a real one on somebody else's husband, or in the case that she's prosecuting and making money off of it, then that's a completely different conversation. But in this instance, it seems like the woman is just in her emotions and she's complaining about what's happening within the office. Yes, take heed, but then at the same time, go to HR. You do have a responsibility, but she's going to leadership and she's letting her know. I just think that she could have handled it a little bit better. But I'm not a fan of Fani. Oh, she fired him? I don't know what happened as a result of it. They just sent me this recording. First time I heard it, first time I reacted to it. And so I find it to be interesting.